The Deck Network. Build a deck.
Bam! This is the Deck Network. I'm your host, Mike Danzolio, and we have the King of Queens here.
The loose cannon, Matt Dalton. Remember, here at the Deck Network, it's all decks all the time. Mike, wow. We are here up to our necks in decks with another program.
Okay, great. Okay, so it's
What are we talking
springtime. Today's show is going to be attaching deck boards. Now, in the past, we've had it on a few different types of shows, and we kind of put them all together because we think that we can, and we always try to kind of keep the content fresh around here. So we're going to talk about how to attach deck boards. Groove deck boards, non-groove deck boards, expensive boards, less expensive boards. So our first video is with my friend Anthony DeSanto from the Fasten Master Company. Now, Fasten Master makes a lot of different products. They have their all the clips that most of the decking is put down is made by Fasten Master, and an incredible product, Cortex. So let's get right into that. The show at this interview that we did at the must have been the IBF show in Las Vegas. You remember that? You were there.
Never got invited to that one. I never get invited to anything. And I would love to learn about the fascinating world of fasteners.
Okay.
So
it was a visa issue, but that's another.
It's another show.
That's
another time.
show. So let's get right into Anthony on it. Fasten Master. Okay. All right, today we're with my good friend Anthony DeSanto from Fasten Master. Anthony, great to see you.
Likewise.
Want to give us a little tour of the products, the Fasten Master products for 2015.
Okay, well, to start off, we have our clip system here, Tiger Claw, pneumatic tools, TCG, Conceal Lock, or our Trex Hideaway clip. Today we're putting down Trex, so we're fastening the Trex Hideaway clip. Essentially, you know, the beautiful thing, Mike, here is that set your gap pretty consistently. It's a Trex approved gap. The tool, you know, one step, pull your trigger. Clip goes right under the nose piece. This is the fastest installation of groove decking on the market. I know you guys sell it, sell it well. So, you know, if you're really looking for a very fast, strong system, this is definitely your
Oh yeah, a lot of guys use it, and time is money.
And speaking about money, you know, if you pay for a hidden deck, fastened deck, and you need to use a face screw on the edges, it's just, you know, it doesn't really align. It doesn't look that great. So what we did is we created Cortex, but this year, 2015, we made some really important enhancements to it. One is a newly redesigned fastener. It rips up, it goes through this capstock board, extremely easy, no pre-drilling. In addition to that, we switched over to a Torx drive.
Okay,
That's
great.
a big switch.
Yes.
Stability button on here. You know, you can't do that with a lot of fasteners. It's got a stick fit application to it. And, you know, again, there's no pre-drilling on it. Essentially, you just you got a nice clean hole there, ready to accept the plug. Plug's made of the exact same decking material. I take a little bit of time to align the grain.
A lot of people do.
Tap it down in there.
Nice.
And I mean, they're gone. You can kind of see there's, you know, about 17 different plugs in there. So,
Okay.
So clips, Cortex, and then our last one here is Trapeze 3. This essentially, we wanted to make it simple with regards to decking and fasteners. So we got your PVCs, your capstocks, your traditional composites, and all these different types of boards need a different type of fastener. Well, we simplified it. One fastener, 3 boards, Trapeze 3. I'll just show you one really cool thing. The lid on the box actually acts as a guide. You put this over your joist structure.
It's going to gap your decking also.
Gap your decking 3/16 of an inch. In addition, it places your fasteners correctly. So, you know, the run of the deck is going to look very professional. The finished look is great. You know, we color match them to basically all different types of deck boards out there. No pre-drilling, even in this dense capstock. There's no mushrooms, no rusting, UV protecting coating on the top of it. You know, really a great fastener to kind of complement your clips and your Cortex.
Well, Anthony, you got a lot of great stuff. Thanks for showing us your little products today.
Thank you, sir.
Fasten Master, a nice high-end product. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. Again, we have the clips for the hidden fastening. Then we have the Cortex. If you don't want to see any screws at all on the tops, whether it be on your picture frame or your stair treads. And then we have the the Trapeze 3, if you don't mind seeing a few screws.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks again. Great
Okay,
to see
man.
you.
That was great.
What did you think of that one?
Man, that gun goes fast. They were really putting that decking down.
That is how to put deck boards down quickly.
Man.
So if you're
impressive.
Yeah, so if you're putting down these TCG clips, the Trex Hideaway, these are the stainless steel Hideaway clips, or the TimberTech/AZAC or CPG brand, they're conceal locks. You can get these in the screws, they call them scrails, nail screws or screw nails, that it's collated, so it's on a strip, but it's a screw. And it has a thread and it has a head on it, but it slams it in pneumatically. But if you want to take it out, you can take it out with a screw gun.
Yep.
So we call them scrails in this business. But those things really, you see how, I mean, we have a big deck that we're having built out here at the Deck Network studio, and Marcos, my personal carpenter, I gave him one of these guns, and he was putting the decking down. He goes, "Wow, Mike, that stuff goes down fast." It's not like there's. If you had ever put a deck down with composite deck screws, 2 on each joist, you know how long that takes.
And what do they say? Time is money. So
Okay, that's
that
for
could
sure.
definitely cut your
So
costs just by that labor alone.
as we just mentioned, the TCG clip by our good friends at Fasten Master or Tiger Claw. The Fasten Master purchased the company Tiger Claw a few years ago because it only seems natural. That's what they do. So it all works well for them. They have the Tiger Claw clips. That's the TCG, which goes for most of the deck boards will fit that. Now the groove on an TimberTech or an AZAC decking is a little bit larger, and so the clip has a few teeth a little barbed teeth that are on the top of it, and when you shoot that in, it grabs the decking really well. The TCG will work for just about every deck board. It works for Trex very, very well. A lot of times, Trex likes to have their deck boards have a 1/4 inch gap in their standard universal clip, which is their plastic clip that we sell by the hundreds of thousands. It screws through the top. So what's good about that is if you ever have to have a deck board come out, you can get it out from the top. These can come out, but they're a little more difficult because that screw is down in there. You can look in between the groove and you really don't see anything. So it has a great look to it. It's powder coated stainless steel. So of course it's going to cost a little bit more than plastic does. So then they also make one for Trex with the 1/4 inch gap. You can buy them, well, these work with screws, the hand screws, but we have them all in the buckets for if you're a contractor and you have the strip nailer. So these guys,
bang them out?
Yeah, they really works well. Everybody uses them. Now on to one of my favorite products, the Cortex product. I own a store. And people come in always trying to sell me on something. When I go to the shows, I see everything at the shows. No one's going to bring anything into my office that I don't already know all about. But probably 7 years or 8 years ago, someone came in with this Cortex product, and I knew right then, I said, this is a good one.
Love it first sight.
Yeah, I loved it right away. It works great for non-grooved boards. On a lot of decks, sometimes you have, if you're putting your clips in, you can't get your clip in. Matt, why don't you grab those 2 pieces of deck boards right there?
Yeah, and that was going to be my question, Mike. When would you use clips as opposed to these plugs?
All right. Most of the big brands, Trex, TimberTech, AZAC, Fiberon, their boards are grooved like this. This particular piece of AZAC right here, it's grooved. And so you would use the clip that best fits this groove. But a lot of the deck boards, now when you use this and you have it at the end like that, this is kind of unsightly to have this hole right here. So then you run your non-groove board around the outside. We call it the picture frame. Now you could keep it the same color, or you can have a border color. And also on the stairs, you would always use a non-groove board on the stairs. You know, the end can look like that, open, or a lot of guys they'll picture frame the stairs also, so it just has a more of a clean look. But you would use on the picture frame, sometimes the first board at the house, and the stairs. You could use Cortex. I have it on for just about every available color. Every time there's a new color that comes out, or a new deck board color, sometimes it takes 6 months to a year to get them for the new products. But this is the new AZAC Vintage Collection, and those, well, it's at the end of March right now. We still haven't got them for this product yet, but this and the Legacy Collection, I'm told, will be here very shortly, by April 1st of 2015. So Cortex works great. As you saw, Anthony, he screwed the screw in, and the screw has a thread on it that it drills a perfect hole. Now you have a stop on your bit that if you didn't have that on there, that
You go right through.
would go right through the board. So it stops it when it's far enough to accept the little plug that goes in. As you said, sometimes you can orient the groove or sometimes the streaking on it. But great product.
Always good having Anthony on the program.
Works. Yeah, Anthony's been on the show many times. So let's get into another product, the Camo Tool.
Oh,
and
nice.
Matt knows all about the Camo Tool. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Well, I'll tell you, if you go back to the original Deck Network videos, you will see me actually in the field applying, fastening the deck down at my own house, and I was using, bam, the Camo Tool. What a great product.
Okay, so
it
let's
is.
get into with our good friend Mark from the Camo Company. Let's watch his interview.
Bam.
All right, we're with Mark from Camo. Mark, how are you?
Good. How about
Great to
yourself,
see
Mike?
you again.
Good, you
Okay,
bet.
let's show us what you got. I know you got some new stuff for 2015.
Absolutely.
New tool. So let's see what you got.
Give you a recap real
Yeah.
quick of the system. What makes the whole thing work is the screw itself. The screw's got an augering tip that actually cuts and removes the fibers as it goes in, and I'll show you here in a minute on that. What it allows you to do is to go in through the edge of the deck board without splitting. Your traditional screw's got a point on it, and when it wants to go in, it wants to spread the fibers. And what happens, you get stressed around the screw, around the screw itself, and it will split the deck board. So this allows us to go anything from softwood, like a cedar, all the way up to something hard like PVC, composite, all that stuff. Real easy to use. Basically, there's a few tools, new tools in the system I'll get to in a second. But as far as the jigs that clamp over the top of the deck board, we have 3 different ones here. The difference is the spacing feet on the tools themselves. The Marksman Pro is one of our original tools that we put in, and it gives you about a 3/16 inch space between your deck boards. And some guys are going, well, that's great, but in our market we use some 2x4s and that type of thing. So we came up with what we call our narrow board tool, our Pro, Marksman Pro NB tool. So we can adjust it a little bit differently. This one here you can adjust from 5 1/4 out to about 5 3/4, where this one here I can go from 5 inches all the way down to a 3 1/4. Both of them have a 3/16 inch spacer. Well, some people are saying to us, well, that's great. I want a smaller gap than that. We came up with the Pro X1. This is geared mainly at wood products that they want a narrower gap treated. It shrinks and the gap ends up being too big. So it's the same exact tool, but instead of having a 3/16 spacer, we have a 1/16 spacer. I'm going to show you here first on the PVC product. What you want to do is you squeeze the lever and it opens the jaw up to lock down over the top of the deck board, okay? If you happen to have a decking that's a little wider, a little narrower, you just simply loosen the thumb dial and slide it according to the width of the deck board. You want this to fit snug over the top of the deck board, so we drop it in, we're ready to go. You drop your screws in the front and also the back. Now we offer 2 lengths of screws, 1 7/8 for a 5/4 and thinner, or we've got a 2 3/8 for the 2x material.
Okay.
When you buy the screws, the bit comes with it. When the shoulder of the bit hits the metal on the tool, it's all the way in. Okay. This board is already attached. I'm starting to fasten this board down. What you want to do is screw on the open side first and then the back side. You want to put 2 screws, 1 on each side on a single
Because
joint.
that's going to bring your board in tight to your gap.
Correct. That gives you set your spacing. So we're ready to go. Run the drill, high speed, all the way in. We jump to the back side, all the way in. We jump to the next joist. So you can see it makes it pretty easy, pretty fast. Now on ePay, make sure we don't have fastener there. I'm just going to do the one side, just kind of give you an idea. When you get into hard material, a lot of people think, oh, it's hard. I got to really push hard. Actually, it's the opposite. You want to light pressure, let the screw do the work. So you want the screw to spin at a high speed, and as you'll see down here, it'll be augering the material out. So I'm ready to go. Run my drill, like I said, full speed. You can start seeing some of the wood particles coming out. I have very light pressure on it. Now I can feel it starting to move a little bit, so I increase my pressure, and it's getting ready to go. and in it goes. And as you can see, it augured the material. If I pushed it real hard, it would crack that board. Okay, now we're going to move to a couple new products for us. The two tools being the edge tool, which the edge is basically fits into any drill or impact, doesn't really matter which one, holds a single screw. So to load this one, basically you're taking your screw, dropping it down in the front. There's a magnet that keeps it from falling out. Now this is in the case if I wanted to butt the board up tight like on a treated board, you would fasten the open side first like we have here. You put the tool down, you want the foot to set flush on top of the deck board, obviously lining up where my joist is, and running the screw in. As simple as that. On the back side, basically you're just going to take it, draw it back, and do the same thing. It's going to position the screw a little higher. With a radius edge deck board, you can do this. If these were square edge deck board, you'd want to take a spacer and drop it in between because you want a gap at that point. Now, the newest tool is our Edge Pro tool. It is a auto feed tool. Guys have said to us, hey, I want to get up off my knees, I want to be faster, my back hurts, my knees hurt, and so forth. Holds 50 screws to a load, okay? And how this thing works is you want the foot to set flat on top of the deck board, so you don't want to tilt it way up or way down. Push down the tool against the edge of the deck board, find your screw, and run it. And as you can see, it goes extremely fast. Walk down fastening the one side, and then come around to your back side, draw it back, you'll find the where the two boards butt, and run it in. So it fastens both sides. As you can see, much faster and easier to run the tool.
Okay, Mark, you got a nice little demonstration over here on why you would use the camo tool.
Yeah, back in actually 3 years ago, we installed 2012. We installed some decking down here, and we did the conventional thing with treated. Both these are Southern Yellow Pine. It was wet when we got it. We fastened them down the same day. We left it outside for 2 years. We didn't treat it. We didn't stain anything, okay? And what we found over the course of time, if we look down close here, what you kind of expect with a traditional bugle head screw, it goes into the deck board, and that's what most people are doing. They're either screwing or nailing, and you can see the cracks and splinters. The splinters and cracks a lot of them are caused by the screw itself, okay? We all want a nice looking deck, okay? Yeah. So if you look to the right here, we've got the edge fastening stuff. Stuff was put down, like I said, same time, sat in the same amount of time out in the elements, and you can see how much it reduced the splinters and cracks at the cost of no different than what it costs for the deck screw, the bugle head screw itself. So it tells a story by looking at it, and you can take it from a treated wood deck to a cedar deck to a redwood deck as we have here, some Ipe. We've got some composite here, PVC. It works on treated, it works on everything that we have.
Great stuff, Mark. It really, you can. This is a great little demonstration on the power of the camo tool. Because it may look good with these screws for the first year, but this is what happens after 2 years. It's night and day. Mark, thank you.
And as you see here,
Yeah.
you know, this barefoot
Approved.
friendly.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Don't have to worry about your splinters.
Okay, Mark, thanks again.
All right, you bet.
Bye
Thanks,
now.
Mike.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
All right. Another great video by Mark.
Great guy, Mark. Impressive. You have the press pass in that video and everything. You're a big deal on site there.
The Deck Network has come a long way.
That's it.
So Mark showed us the few different camo tools. Grab the camo tool. He has so many different kinds of different types of applications. We have the Marksman Pro. You have different gaps. You get different widths of boards. There's he has some for like a treated wood. You would use. You want them as tight as possible because treated wood, when it's made, is wet, and so it dries and it shrinks a little bit. So you don't want to leave it. You don't leave a gap on treated wood because when you put it down, because once it dries, you're going to have a bigger gap.
And I was impressed in that video with the treated wood, showing how the aging is.
Well, that was a great demonstration how the camo company has that deck that it says that it was made in so and so month of 2012. So that's only a few years ago. And the treated wood, if you don't do anything to treated wood, it just cracks up and checks and splits. But it's very cost effective.
And we live in this composite decking world. Obviously, we're fans of it,
Yeah,
and you don't even have to worry about splintering or those sorts of things. But we understand treated decks are going up still.
75% of the decks that are built in the country are wood. Now, they're probably the lion's share of it is going to be treated wood because that's an inexpensive product that's going to hold up a long time. Different parts of the country, you'll see redwood in California, of course. Cedar has. Cedar's been around for a long time, but cedar doesn't last at all.
It's a
getting
softer
worse.
wood, right?
It's very soft. It used to last 10, 12 years, depending upon your proximity to the sun. Now we're seeing some of this new growth cedar that's only going 4 or 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like disposable wood. You wouldn't even use it. And but the camo, I've really liked the product. As I said earlier, most of the deck boards that we have are grooved deck boards. So if you have a grooved deck board, you would use the clip that would work best for that board. On your non-grooved boards, you would put you could put the Cortex in. Camo is great it's a great inexpensive way of attaching your deck boards to a frame without seeing screws through the top. In some cases, it'll still cost less than the screws through the top because those camo screws are very, very inexpensive. And it's a lot less time because screwing a board through a non-groove board, screwing a composite deck screw, a 2.5-inch composite deck screw, through something super hard like this, it's work.
Yeah. And I could say firsthand, I am not skilled, I'm all thumbs, but the application with the camo tool, super user-friendly.
Yeah,
I was laying down the board really easy.
Yeah, it works really well, better than nailing your deck board down. All right, that's it for this show on attaching deck boards. You can send us some letters at
questions, comments, whatever you want.
I get
pictures,
them at
whatever
Mike
you
at the
wanna
Deck Network. I get sometimes 1 and 2 a day, and I just reply and send them back with my whatever.
Send them out a Deck Network shirt
I
or
just
something,
send them out all
bumper
the time.
sticker or something.
Or you can send some to Matt, and I heard that he actually checked his inbox.
And I'll tell you, there were some emails there. If I didn't respond, I'm getting back to you now. Very good, very impressed to see that people are reaching out and interacting with the Deck Network.
Yeah, I thought they were going to ask you about makeup and hair.
Yeah, all the product that goes into
all
it,
that
the
type
full
of stuff.
design team that's
Okay.
behind the scenes here.
That's it for today's show.
Bam.
Have
Ciao.
a great day and
Ciao for now.
Good.